Good evening to my audience and to everybody that is watching. Like I always start all live feeds, I will continue to say, like I always start, I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News. We are here after a couple of days that we have had really tough a couple of days. And first of all, before I start giving out the real story of what happened, I would like to say thank you to all the mainstream media networks in Guatemala. Thank you. Muchas gracias a todos los medios de comunicación en Guatemala. Muchísimas gracias. Se los agradezco. José Torres y su servidor se los agradecemos de todo corazón. We want to thank the mainstream media of Guatemala, particularly from Jose Torres, my colleague, photojournalist Jose Torres. We want to thank the mainstream media of Guatemala. All the mainstream media, when they heard this, it went absolutely viral in their country. I want to thank also the Mexican consulate in Guatemala. I will give a story of how he had got in contact with us. Also, ultimately, all the networks in Mexico, El País, El Diario, El Heraldo de Mexico, and all big networks that helped us and they have communicated with us. Thank you so much. The authorities, thank you also. Our network, Real America's Voice News, thank you so much. Mr. Rob and Mr. Sig, God bless your dear hearts. Ben Berquam, Dr. Gina, Terrence and Jessica, and Mr. Jason, the producer. All of them, thank you so much for all of your support. Mainstream media in the United States also, thank you for preoccupying yourself with my security and my well-being. It is really hard for me to do a video after what we went through. I don't wish nobody to go through what I went through. We planned this trip since December, and we had an itinerary. The itinerary, it was already scheduled with authorities of Venezuela to go inside of the airport of Guatemala, with authorities of Guatemala. And to go inside of the airport of the Guatemala airport and document how Joe Biden is deporting unaccompanied minors directly into the airport of Guatemala. For people that are putting incompetent and stupid comments in the live feed, I will not answer you. With all respect, you were not in my situation. So I will say, with all respect, keep your comments to yourself. We changed the itinerary for one day. We were supposed to go to the airport. Jose Torres and myself. Jose Torres, it is a journalist from a routers. He has won multiple, awards for photograph. He's a really experienced journalist. We changed the itinerary from going to the airport. From the schedule was to experience and bring to light what is the narrative of climate change in terms to the narrative of natural disasters. When we were driving through Guatemala late at night, we saw the volcano. It's called the volcano of fire, and it was erupting late at night. We were driving through the hotel around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. It is a 5-hour drive from crossing to Tapachula, and from Tapachula all the way to the capital of uh, of basically Guatemala. From there, we stayed in our hotel, and on the next day, we had a couple of hits. One of them really early with Terrence and Mr. Terrence and Jessica from America's Voice. Then later on with Mr. Steve Bannon, and later on after that was Dr. Gina. On that evening, we said, you know what? The flights are not coming in as what we want. They had an ICE deportation uh, tours from Guatemala all the way towards from the United States all the way to Guatemala. So we were looking for the coverage of Title 42 when it comes to the stay in Mexico policy, deportees from Guatemala all the way directly to the airport. So we changed the itinerary because on the next day they changed it. The airport changed the itinerary of deportees. So we said, there's this volcano that's called the volcano of fire. This volcano erupted in 2018, and it completely demolished a whole community, and more than 900 people died under the surface, and they were submerged by the lava and the sand that it was pushed by the mountain of the volcano. So for us, it was a really great idea to show the environmentalists how a natural disaster it is comparable to climate change, and how people migrate through natural disaster, not through climate change. So we went over there. It took us around an hour and some minutes from where we were at. We were in the capital of Guatemala. After we arrived to the location of the volcano, we were on the legs of the volcano, on the feet of the volcano. We got out of the driver that drove us over there. Jose started taking photographs. Also, he took some photos of me. And I started a live stream. I started a live stream in Facebook due to the fact that the data that we have over here that they had over here in Guatemala, they sponge a lot of data. So I didn't want to go live in YouTube because I was saving that data for when I do my hits with Real America's Voice News. We got out of the vehicle. I started a live feed. Cheche started, Jose, the photojournalist, started getting into territory where the volcanic rocks were at, and some homes that they were submerged. I got in there also. I started recording, and inevitably, as I started, showing houses as they were submerged and destroyed, uh, we saw people. We didn't see. I saw people all the way. It was a community. As I started walking, there was a big hallway all the way to the top, and there was people. There was like 4 or 5 people, and then later on, we only saw one woman. I didn't put attention to that. I was recording the houses as they were destroyed. Jose went all the way up towards that person, and the woman started crying. She started explaining that she lost her family there, and she just got robbed by some vandals in her house. I changed the live stream from Facebook to YouTube. I said to my audience in Facebook, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go live at YouTube. I said, the hell with it. I like better the platform of YouTube, whether I'm live right now at Facebook. So I went live at YouTube. I started recording and I started doing some B-roll video for our network, Real America's Voice News, to show them the reality of a natural disaster in comparison to what it is a climate change disaster. We got to the person that it was a woman, and she started doing an interview. Inevitably, she started giving us an explanation of the situation of what it was happening on the ground. She was telling us that she lost all her family, that she lost her kids, and then she saw that more than 800 people died on that event. More than 800 people lived on that community, but more than uh, 100 people died on that day on the eruption of the volcano. As I was doing the interview, Jose went a little bit up into the mountain and he said, Blue, we have a cross over here. It is a person that died and it was buried over here. So in my eyes, I said, that is great coverage. Let us show the reality of a natural disaster in comparison to what these environmentalists want to rub into our throats. So I walked up. We were watching our backs. The community seemed, and they told us that it was safe. They told us that, it was friendly and all of this stuff. So we walked up. I'm recording the cross, the first cross. There was another cross on the other side. I recorded the other cross. And after that, I walked towards my right. There was some sand that it was pushed by a volcano. So I was showing my audience. Jose went a little bit, 100 meters, 100 some meters away from me towards the left. I started walking towards where the sand and the lava was at, the residue of the aftermath of the disaster. And you guys have seen the video. I will tell you, uh, right now I'm full with anger. At the moment, I could not digest. Uh, in these couple of days, I haven't been able to digest what really happened. But now it is sinking in little by little, and I'm really full with anger. Uh, and what I can tell you is that I have seen the video 2 times. One, I will explain why I saw the video, and the other one, I'll also have an explanation why I saw the video. I don't want to see that video anymore. Uh, it is too hard for me to see that video, and I feel impotent into not do anything. Uh, I was recording, and all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, 2 individuals, I heard that somebody was running towards me from the back. I heard something. I looked. They did not know that I was on a live feed. This is a really observation that I want to put out for everybody that works on the ground and works on these kind of reportings. This is what we do. This is what we risk. We risk our lives to bring you raw and uncut footage of the reality and truth of what is happening in our borders, in our countries. As I was standing there, I heard some steps. I looked, I changed my camera, and all of a sudden I saw him, and he was pointing the gun towards me. It was a shotgun. And the other individual was telling me, get the F down. He used profanity a lot in his native language. Immediately, I saw the gun and I'm like, I'm not going to play stupid. I'm not going to be fighting these people. That did not go to my mind, but inevitably, I'm a mature individuals that I know that in these kind of occasions, you need to remain calm and give them everything that they want, so they will go and they will not harm you. As I kneel down, I pointed the camera towards them. My whole purpose was to try to get a glimpse of who they were and try to record them in one way. I did not know about the recording, and I will explain to what moment in a few moments. After they got me on my knees and they put the shotgun in my this side of my ear, they were telling me to get all my property off. I had a backpack carried right here, which I had a lot of equipment that it was really valuable. At the time, I did not care about the equipment. I care about my life. The equipment, it is valuable for me because it's the only thing that I use for work. The equipment has been everything that I have worked so hard tirelessly to give broadcasts and to do my reporting across several borders and different in more than 10 occasions walking on caravans and in working on the south border. After I got on my knees, he started telling me, you know what, get all your belongings to me. Give me all your belongings to me. I did not know what to do. I said, okay, 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 está bien, está bien, está bien, lo que tú digas, te doy todo, te doy todo. I'll give you everything. And I looked to my right, and there was my colleague coming, Jose. His look was of shocked. He started walking towards me, and they said, ven para acá. They told him, walk towards him. He walked towards me, and they kneeled him down also. He sat down. His cell phone, in a way, he got him under his pants. He had three expensive cameras. He is a photojournalist. They were pointing their gun towards us. And that particular moment, we realized we are not only with two people. There were four individuals around the mountain, all camouflage, and they were wearing shirts in their heads to not disclose their image. All of them, they were carrying shotguns. And that moment, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know specifically what was the next thing to do. Only the thing that I was thinking is to survive, to live. I thought in that moment, well, I should do what they tell me to do. I had my two phones. Both of them, they have a lock key. Also, my colleague had a lock key. As I was really nervous and I had a gun pointed at my head, they were telling me, unblock the phone. I unblocked the phone. And ultimately, after I unblocked the phones, they got locked again. So they were telling me, do as I tell you, unblock the phones. I'm saying to them, I am unblocking them, but they get blocked. What do you want me to do? They said, take away the key blocked. I didn't know how to do that because I was in the middle of a gun pointed at my head and a guy that was getting tired of me not doing things immediately, as he was saying. He said to me, you're getting me tired, mother effer. I am going to kill you now. So he looked at me. I looked at him, the one that was pointing the gun. And he said, don't look at me. I don't want to remember you looking at me. So I stared at him for a little bit. And then I looked down and we gave them all our property, everything. They took everything that we had. I said to him, please leave my cards. Is the only thing that I have. Please leave my cards, my IDs. He got all the IDs and he threw them on the floor. He threw the IDs of my colleagues also on the floor. They got up and they were pointing the guns of us towards us. One of them hit me with his gun on my shoulder, and he told me, "This is the last time that you are going to live." So at that particular time, the live feed was cut. I cut the live feed because I did not want them to see that I was recording them. If they would have known that I was recording them, I would not be alive right now. I managed myself to control myself and manage myself to record these two vandals, criminals. After they noticed that the phones were unlocked, I gave them my password and said, "This is the password for you to unlock it. Take it. Take all of it." At that moment, they went around us and they told me, "Turn around. You're going to die." He cut the clip of the gun. I was standing looking at Jose down. My mind was only thinking of my son. I was thinking, my son is not going to have a father anymore. And I was praying to God that they will go and they will leave us there. And they did. They told us some profanity words. And they said, "Get out of my town." All 6 or 8 of them got scattered into the jungle. And we ran out into the main road. As soon as we got into the main road, there was 2 people that they sell watermelons. We started asking for help. We started asking for a ride. We were looking at each other and we didn't know what just happened. We just wanted to get out. The watermelon guy told us, "What happened? You went in there?" "Yes." "They have already raped 1 woman and 1 child last week. And they almost killed a woman journalist from the United States on that pathway also. Do you need anything?" We said, "We only need some money to get away from here." I remember I touched right here in my left pocket and I said, "What do I got over here?" And I remember that I bought 2 waters because it was going to be hot. So I had 40 quetzals right here that they did not took away. A quetzal, it is the currency of Guatemala. 40 quetzal, it is around 100 pesos. I said, "We have 100 pesos," Jose, to my colleague. And he looked at me and he said, "We need to get a ride. We need to get out of here. We are vulnerable to these people." We stayed right there, and then a police unit from the National Police of Guatemala arrived to the location. We got into the middle of the road and said, "Stop, stop, please." And they stopped. They said, "What is the problem?" We said, "We are 2 Mexican journalists that we just got robbed and almost killed right here." The people that they were selling watermelons told us, "You guys are really lucky to be alive. What they do is they just kill and they bury the bodies in the desert." So we put our report into the police, National Police of Guatemala. They took our report, how many property we had. And after that, we asked them, "Can we get a ride, please? We need a ride." They took us to the main road of the Guatemala city. This was up in the hill. And they told us, "You want to put a police report right now? We need to take you to the main the main the ministerial public ministerial office. So we said we were not feeling secure with these people. Why? Because the police officers were telling us on our way down that they knew that this was an operation and that they knew that this was a little mafia that operates on that mountain. So I said to Jose, we need to go home. And he said, I agree. So we told the officers, just leave us down on the road. We have enough money. There was a guy before we got up on the police. There was a guy that was buying watermelons, and we asked him for a ride, and we told him what happened to us, and he said, I will give you 50 quetzals. That is around 200 pesos. So we had money to move on a taxi or a cab. We got down to the main road and we asked the police officers, we don't want to do the report right now. We don't feel safe. He said, this is really serious. You need to do the report. I said, no, we don't want to. We just want to go home. They dropped us off in the main road and we got off. We crossed like a little freeway highway to the other side to go west into the capital. We did not know where we were. We grabbed a bus that it was we stopped a bus that it was a public transportation, and we asked, where do you go? And he said, we go to this main capital. We said, he looked at me, Jose looked at me, and they said, they gave me my debit card. And I said, they gave me two of my debit cards. They gave me one of my debit cards, which I don't have that much money in it. I don't use it that much. And he said, well, we have money on a bank. Let's go to the ATM and see if it works over here. Our cards, let's see if they work. We grabbed a bus, and as we were going west, we were a little nervous. We were really nervous. We could not realize what just happened to us. We did not realize what just happened to us. We were looking at each other with anger, with fear, and we were preoccupied that they make contact and try to extortion our families. They had all Jose's documentation. They had my documentation, also my passport. So they know every single detail of us. And immediately when we got to the city, we got out, we started walking, and there was a store. I remember the store is Maxi Plus. That is the store over here. For everybody that does not know Tapachula now, I am in Tapachula now. I am in Mexico now. I am safe. So at that time, this store name was Maxi Plus. It's a store in Guatemala. I got in there. I went to the ATM and I saw that I had in one card, the only card that I had almost 3,000 pesos. That is around $150. So I looked to the counter and I asked the lady, do you guys sell cell phones here? And she said, yes. I said, I need the cheapest one. I just need the cheapest one so I can communicate with my family. We just got aggravated assaulted and robbed by some criminals. These gang members, they operate on the mass. She said, let me show you some. She showed me a phone. I paid for that phone. Left me with some like 50 quetzals, something like that. She put credit in it. We had a difficult time to activate the phone because in Guatemala, you need to have a PIN to activate your phone. What is that? Your public ID or your voter ID has a PIN. So that PIN, you need to install it in the phone so it can activate.